Now, Chris, I actually wanted to start the next topic with a little quiz for you about HTTP status codes. All right. Do you know what 404 means?
Yeah, it means no page not found.
Right? 401,
Redirect, isn't it?
unauthorized, right?
Oh,
Is it?
okay, yeah.
Actually, I should remember that. Let me have a look. Ah,
You're quizzing me and you don't even know the
yeah,
answers?
okay, okay,
What's
okay.
going on?
Well, okay. So that 401 is unauthorized. Now, 402.
Let me think. 402 is payment required.
Oh, someone's using a popular internet search engine. Yes, 402
Yeah.
is what this story is about, and it's a really interesting story. So for a long time, there has just been HTTP status code 402 payment required. That has been kind of moribund. It hasn't been used for anything, but it's just been there. And Cloudflare has just decided to use it to launch a new feature called Pay Per Crawl. Now, Cloudflare is this massive hosting, DNS, CDN, all the things. Basically, a lot of the internet runs on Cloudflare infrastructure. And they have just launched into beta a new feature called Pay Per Crawl, which lets website owners charge AI companies for crawling their content. So basically, if someone tries to crawl you, instead of just returning a 401 unauthorized or just letting them crawl it for free, you can now return a 402 and say, you have to pay us to crawl this content. I think it is fascinating because just last week, Chris, in Reacts, we were talking about the fact that there are all of these lawsuits. There are companies saying we won't be able to survive because AI is crawling us, taking all of our intellectual property, and we're no longer able to compete against that. So now we have this feature that is actually by one of the world's dominant internet infrastructure providers that is saying, we have a potential fix for that. We're going to give you control and say, you can let people crawl you, but you can set the rates at which you wish to be compensated. And I think this is really fascinating. Will it work? I don't know. But the fact that it's not just, some thought bubble or it's not coming from government or anything like that, it doesn't require mass coordination across lots of small organizations to band together. No, it's this thing that is done by Cloudflare. It's currently in beta, but soon they're going to launch it publicly. And any website that wants to can basically say, if you want to crawl me, you've got to pay.
When you start having robots intermediate relationships between people and transactions and commerce, you need protocol-based payment rails that just work automatically. You need data and utility portability. It becomes mandatory. We on the show interviewed a founder, actually a group of founders that built this thing called Skyfire, which is AI to AI commerce at scale. And go back in the back catalog and find it was December 30th, 2024. And, they're building basically PayPal for agents using the existing HTTP protocol with the existing error codes or response codes to facilitate that protocol and initiate that request is brilliant. The best thing about standards is that they exist. The worst thing about standards is everyone goes and invents new ones. Using existing standards to trigger this kind of thing and to do it via protocol and to do it at scale is the future of everything. We want it all to be, super easy, low friction, interoperable. So I think that's, whoever the engineer was that was sitting in the meeting going, excuse me, there's status code 402. Like, whoever that was and whoever the product manager was, goes, that's freaking brilliant. Yes, that's the one we want. Kudos to them. And I think it's a no-brainer. That's the way things should work.
But I think there's more to this story, right? Because like you said, open standards, fantastic. But this wouldn't have been possible for basically anyone else on the internet except for Cloudflare, right? And for those who are less technically minded, I think it tells you something interesting about the modern internet, which is it's a whole lot less decentralized than you would expect. So of course you have the big cloud hyperscalers, but you also have these more edge networks like Cloudflare and Akamai. And basically, if you are doing anything on the internet, the odds are it's probably going through Cloudflare's servers, right? It's loading content from there. They've got little servers everywhere, physically close to you, so it goes faster, it saves money, it saves bandwidth, and that's what they do. And because they are actually there as a kind of transparent intermediary to so many internet connections, they're the ones who can do this. They can say, we're unilaterally choosing to adopt this standard 402 and interpret it in this way. And straight away, you have got a critical mass. And now other people can jump on board and do it the same way that Cloudflare is doing it. But it's just a fascinating lesson in the internet, in a way.
The internet is not as decentralized as we would all like, and neither is blockchain and Bitcoin, actually. But it's great. It's aspirationally true, and it's technically possible, but these things tend to consolidate in weird and wonderful ways. I remember when I was back in the data portability days, and I was, some might say mired, some might say enthusiastically engaged in the open standards community. There was this saying, which is running code ends debates or wins debates. And it was basically, we could debate the format of the JSON file or the XML file or whatever all day long, but the first person to implement a library that handles it a certain way, debate over. That's the library, it works. And this is a great example of that. It's like, not only does running code end debate, running code at scale completely eviscerates the debate. It's like, we're done, guys. We're controlling the outcome just by implementing it at scale. So, you want to hope some of these actors are more benevolent. Some of them are more standards oriented. Some of them more whatever. Some of them could be, Microsoft with Internet Explorer and just break the world. So, you hope for the best actors and the best outcome possible.
Okay, one more part to this quiz, Chris. What is HTTP code 418?
Hang on, I got to get back to Google to find out.
Oh.
No, what is it?
418 is I'm a teapot, which is an officially gazetted HTTP response code that was actually introduced as an April Fool's joke quite a long time ago.
It's also the area code for Canada, apparently.
Wow.
For the eastern part, province Quebec, including Quebec City.
You come here for all this amazing trivia, folks. So what do you think? If you run a website, do you think you might implement 402 pay per crawl? Let us know in the comments.